Phishing, one of the most common types of cyber attacks, takes the form of an email or a text message designed to trick us into providing personal information, and it might often be disguised as coming from a financial institution, such as a bank. The purpose of the email will usually be to trick you into visiting a spoof web page and revealing your login information to the attacker, or to deliver malware via a web page or an attachment. The learning outcomes for this lesson are firstly to reduce the impact of a successful attack through account configuration, then identify vulnerabilities on your business operation. Next, we'll cover the obvious signs of phishing and how to report all suspected phishing attacks before looking at how we all leave a digital footprint online. First of all, though, let's look at how you can reduce the impact of any successful phishing attacks made against your organisation by configuring accounts correctly. It's advisable to set up your staff accounts ahead of time using the least privilege principle. This means giving employees the fewest user rights they need to do their jobs, so that if they do fall victim to a phishing attack, the potential damage is minimised. To further reduce the damage that malware or loss of login credentials can cause, ensure that employees don't browse the web or check emails from an account with administrator privileges. An administrator account is a user account that grants you the ability to make changes that affect other users. Administrators have access to all files on the computer and can change security settings and install software and hardware. As a result, an attacker with unauthorized access to an administrator account could cause far more damage than an attacker with unauthorized access to a standard user account. Also, use two-factor authentication on critical accounts like email. This means that even if an attacker has your passwords, they won't be able to access your account. Next, let's consider how someone might target your organisation and make sure all of your employees understand normal ways of working, especially when interacting with other organisations, so that they're better equipped to spot unusual requests. Sending an invoice for a service that you haven't used is a common trick, and when attachments are opened, malware is automatically installed without your knowledge on your computer. Another method is to dupe employees into transferring money or information by sending emails that appear genuine. Consider your normal working methods and how you can help make these tricks less likely to succeed. As an example, are staff members aware of what to do in response to unusual requests and where to seek assistance? Before taking action, think about whether someone impersonating an important individual, maybe a customer or manager via email, should be challenged or have their identity verified in another way. Do you have a good understanding of your regular business relationships? Scammers often send phishing emails from large organisations such as banks, hoping that some of the email recipients have a connection to that company. If you receive an email from a company that you don't do business with, you should be sceptical. Think about how you can encourage and support your employees to question suspicious or unusual requests, even if they appear to come from important people. Having the courage to ask, "Is this genuine?" can mean the difference between staying safe and suffering a costly mishap. You should also consider how your incoming communications appear to suppliers and customers. Do you, for example, send unsolicited emails requesting money or passwords? Will your emails be mistaken for phishing emails, or will they leave people vulnerable to an attack disguised as an email from you? It's good practice to inform suppliers or customers of what to expect from you. For example, we'll never ask for your password, or our bank details will not change at any time. Expecting your employees to identify and delete all phishing emails is an impossible task that will probably have a significant negative impact on your business productivity. However, many phishing emails still fit the mold of a traditional attack, so keep an eye out for the following red flags. An employee will usually only click on a link in an email if they have something to gain by clicking it, or something to lose by not clicking. The better the promise, the scarier the threat, the more likely they are to click. So think about, what does the user have to gain by clicking this link? Most employees these days have enough know-how to think twice before clicking on links in emails from people that they don't know. Is an email claiming to be from their own CEO or from a software tool that they use? They'll often click before they can finish reading, so think about whether the email poses as a person, team, or service that the user knows. If nothing else, drop in the company's name to make the email customized enough to get a user to click. The most likely way for a user not to fall for a phishing simulation is that they're able to anticipate it because they might have heard about it from their colleagues. To avoid this, make the email urgent and consider, is there any time limitation on it? The email could offer something to the first 10 users who click, or ask all employees for completion by the end of the workday under risk of penalty. Employees are far more likely to click on emails that arrive during office hours, and even better, they're likely to immediately click on emails when they're at work and looking for easy distractions, such as a Friday afternoon. Think about whether the users are going to be at work when the email's sent out, and are they going to be busy or looking for a distraction. Also, keep an eye out for the following red flags. Many phishing scams originate in other countries, and the spelling, grammar and punctuation are frequently poor. Others will try and make official-looking emails by incorporating logos and graphics. Think about whether the design and the quality is in line with what you'd expect from a large corporation. Is it addressed to you by name, or does it say something like valued customer, friend or colleague? This could indicate that the sender doesn't know you and that the email is part of a phishing scam. Is there a veiled threat in the email that requires you to act quickly? Be careful of phrases like send these details within 24 hours or you've been a victim of crime, click here right away. Also, keep an eye out for emails that appear to come from high-ranking members of your organisation and request a payment to be made to a specific bank account. Check the sender's name, check if it's genuine, or if it's attempting to imitate someone that you know. If something appears to be too good to be true, it most likely is. It's unlikely that anyone will want to give you money or give you access to a hidden section of the internet.
Yes. It says here on the computer that you have 86,000 Ugandan dollars waiting to be paid directly into your bank account.
Phishing emails are usually routed to spam or junk folders by email filtering services. However, the rules governing this filtering must be tailored to your organisation's specific requirements. If these rules are too lax and suspicious emails are not routed to spam or junk folders, users will be forced to manage a large number of emails, increasing their workload and leaving the door open for a click. However, if your rules are too stringent, some legitimate emails may be missed. To achieve the best compromise, you might need to change the rules over time.
Phishing's like so cool. Phishing is me sending a document that is pretending to be something from a trusted source. So that could be in the form of a text message, it could be in the form of an email like you usually get, or maybe it's in the form of an invoice and I'm using someone else's account. All of these types of things are methods, and it's about understanding the verification of those documents to avoid phishing. So when you're talking about phishing and phishing attacks, they're after basically the same thing that they're always after, and it's your data. What they've started to do now, as opposed to actually taking your data, they're relying on the fact that you care about your data as an organization. And this is where ransomware is so cool, right? Because it doesn't rely on stealing that data most of the time. Sometimes it does. But it relies on the fact that you care about that data in your environment and that it's worth something to you and you're willing to pay to an attacker to get it back.
Try to make a point to encourage your employees to seek assistance if they suspect that they've been a victim of phishing, especially if they've never raised the issue before. If you suspect a successful attack, it's critical to scan for malware and change passwords as soon as possible. Also, try and avoid punishing staff if they're caught out. It really does discourage people from reporting in the future, and it can make them so afraid that they'll spend an inordinate amount of time and energy scrutinising every single email that they receive. Both of these things are detrimental to your business in the long run. If you believe your company has been the victim of online fraud, scams or extortion, then you should report it to Action Fraud. Action Fraud is the UK's national reporting centre for fraud and cybercrime. Or, if you live in Scotland, call Police Scotland on 101. To make their phishing messages more convincing, attackers use publicly available information about your organisation and its employees. This is frequently taken from your website and social media accounts, and this is the information referred to as a user's digital footprint. Try to recognise the impact of information shared on your company's website and social media pages. What information do visitors to your website really need, and what information is unnecessary but could be useful to attackers? Also, keep an eye on what your partners, contractors and suppliers post about your company on the internet. Assist your employees in understanding how sharing their personal information can affect both them and your organisation. It's not reasonable to expect people to delete all traces of themselves from the internet, but you can at least help them to manage their digital footprint and shape their profile so that it benefits both them and the organisation. In summary then, we've covered how to reduce the impact of successful attacks through account configuration, then identified vulnerabilities in your business operation. Next, we covered the obvious signs of phishing, tips for running a successful phishing campaign, and how to report all suspected phishing attacks before looking at how we all leave a digital footprint online.